Anya was crying and begging her stepmother in the corner of the kitchen. Her small body was shaking as she held a mop that was too big for her tiny hands. The woman standing over her had angry eyes and a mean voice. "If you don't clean this floor right now, I'll get rid of you just like I got rid of your useless mother." The woman screamed. This woman was supposed to be Ania's new mommy. Her name was Imani, and Ania's father had gotten engaged to her just 6 months ago. But Imani was nothing like Ania's real mother. She was cruel and scary, but what happened next would change Ania's life forever in ways no one could have imagined. Hello everyone, welcome to our story. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments where you are watching from and what time it is there. Many years ago, in the bustling urban streets of a big American city, two little girls grew up side by side, thick as thieves. Their names were Aaliyah and Imani, and they were inseparable. They hustled to school together every morning, dodging traffic and cracking jokes about the grumpy crossing guard. After class, they'd hit the playground, sharing popsicles from the ice cream truck or pooling their allowance for candy from the corner store. Aaliyah was the one with the heart of gold. She'd always split her last Snickers bar with you, even if her stomach was rumbling. Folks in the neighborhood adored her. She'd help old Mrs. Jenkins carry her groceries up 3 flights of stairs without breaking a sweat, flashing that bright smile that lit up the block. Imani, though, she was sharp as a tack and pretty as a picture, but something simmered underneath. She hated it when Aaliyah got the spotlight, like when their teacher, Ms. Ramirez, praised Aaliyah's art project in front of the whole class. Imani's gut would twist, her smile turning tight as she clapped along, or when the other kids flocked to Aaliyah during recess, leaving Imani on the sidelines. She'd stew in silence, nails digging into her palms. But Aaliyah never caught on. She treated Imani like family, always looping her in, sharing secrets under the covers during sleepovers. "You're my ride or die, girl," Aaliyah would say, hugging her tight. As the years flew by, the girls stuck together through high school drama and college applications. They both got into the same state university, rooming together in a cramped dorm that smelled like ramen and cheap perfume. Aaliyah dove into nursing school, driven by that same urge to help. She wanted to be there for folks when they were at their lowest, holding hands in hospital rooms and making the pain a little less sharp. "I just want to make a difference, you know?" she'd tell Imani over late-night study sessions, her eyes shining with purpose. Imani went for psychology, becoming a counselor who specialized in mental health crises. She was damn good at it too. Clients opened up to her like she'd cracked some code. But deep down, it was the perfect cover for her manipulative streak. She loved picking apart people's vulnerabilities, steering conversations to get what she wanted. When Aaliyah aced her exams and got glowing feedback from professors, Imani would nod and smile, but inside it burned. Why her? Why not me? She'd think, staring at her reflection in the mirror after lights out. Then during their junior year, everything shifted. Aaliyah was buried in textbooks at the campus library, prepping for a brutal anatomy test, when she knocked over her stack of notes. Papers flew everywhere, and she felt her face heat up as heads turned. "Whoa, let me give you a hand," a smooth voice said. She looked up, and there he was, Elijah, tall and handsome with warm brown eyes and an easy grin that made her stomach flip. He knelt, gathering her stuff without a hint of judgment. "Thanks, man, I appreciate it," Aaliyah muttered, brushing a curl out of her face. "No problem, I'm Elijah," he said, handing her the last notebook. "And you?" "Aaliyah," she replied, her voice a little shaky. He wasn't just good-looking. There was something genuine about him, like he actually saw her, not just the surface. From that moment, sparks flew. Elijah came from money. His dad ran a successful tech firm, and his mom was a community organizer who volunteered at local shelters. But he wasn't flashy about it, no designer labels or bragging. He drove a beat-up Honda and volunteered at the same soup kitchen Aaliyah did on weekends. They'd bump into each other there, chatting over steaming pots of chili. "You got a real way with people," he'd say, watching her comfort a homeless vet. "It's inspiring." Pretty soon, Elijah started waiting for her after classes. They'd stroll the campus paths, talking about everything. Dreams of starting a family clinic for underserved neighborhoods, his plans to expand his dad's business ethically without screwing over workers. Aaliyah opened up about her rough upbringing, how her single mom worked 2 jobs to keep the lights on. I want to give back, make sure no kid feels that kind of struggle, she'd say, her voice fierce. Elijah listened, really listened, nodding and sharing his own stories. My folks taught me money doesn't mean squat without heart, he'd reply, squeezing her hand. Their walks turned into coffee dates, then dinners at hole-in-the-wall spots where they'd split burgers and fries, laughing till their sides hurt. Imani watched it all unfold from the sidelines, that familiar knot twisting in her chest. She'd tag along sometimes, but more often, she'd fake a smile when Aaliyah gushed about Elijah. He brought me flowers today, just because, Aaliyah would say, eyes sparkling. And he wrote this note saying I'm the best thing that's happened to him. Each word stung Imani like a slap. She'd force a laugh. Girl, that's goals. But inside, jealousy boiled. Why Aaliyah? Imani was smarter, prettier, always the one turning heads. Yet here was Elijah, falling hard for her best friend. As weeks turned to months, Elijah and Aaliyah's bond deepened. He'd surprise her with picnics in the park, complete with her favorite tunes blasting from his phone. You're my rock, he'd whisper during quiet moments, pulling her close. One evening, as they sat on a bench watching the sunset, Elijah turned serious. Aaliyah, you've got me hooked. I can't imagine my days without you. She leaned into him, heart racing. For the first time, she felt truly seen, truly loved. But across campus, Imani lay in her dorm bed, staring at the ceiling, her mind racing with dark thoughts. This should have been mine, she muttered to the empty room. As months zipped by, Elijah and Aaliyah's romance hit warp speed. He'd show up at her dorm with takeout from that greasy spoon they loved, or drag her out for late-night drives, blasting old-school R&B on the radio. You're killing me with that smile, girl, he'd tease, pulling her in for a kiss that left her dizzy. Aaliyah felt alive, like she'd finally found her match. Someone who got her grind, her dreams, without all the drama. One crisp fall afternoon, Elijah texted her to meet at their spot in the city park, the one with the duck pond and those massive oaks that shaded the benches. She showed up in her scrubs, fresh off a shift, hair tied back in a messy bun. He was waiting with a blanket spread out, a picnic basket overflowing with fried chicken, mac and cheese, and her favorite sweet tea. What's all this? Aaliyah laughed, plopping down beside him. Just wanted to spoil my queen, Elijah said, his eyes locking on hers. They dug in, chatting about nothing and everything. Her tough patience at the hospital, his latest business pitch to investors. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky in oranges and pinks, Elijah cleared his throat. Aaliyah, you flipped my world upside down. Your heart, your hustle, it's everything I didn't know I needed. He dropped to one knee, pulling out a velvet box. Inside sparkled a diamond ring that caught the light like fireworks. Will you marry me? Make this official. Aaliyah's hands flew to her mouth, tears blurring her vision. Elijah. Yes. Hell yes. She tackled him in a hug, both of them tumbling onto the blanket in a fit of laughter. The ring fit perfectly, like it was made for her finger. That night she called Imani first, voice bubbling over. Girl, he proposed. We're getting hitched. Imani gripped her phone tighter, forcing enthusiasm into her tone. Oh my God, that's amazing. Tell me everything. But as Aaliyah spilled the details, the park, the ring, the feels, Imani's chest tightened. She paced her apartment, the one she shared with a roommate who was always late on rent. Sounds like a fairy tale, Imani said, her smile audible but fake as hell. Inside, questions raged. Why her? I've been grinding just as hard. Why does she get the prince? The wedding planning kicked off like a whirlwind. Elijah's folks footed the bill for a blowout at a swanky downtown venue, the kind with crystal chandeliers and a dance floor that screamed luxury. Aaliyah picked a sleek white gown that hugged her curves, and of course, she asked Imani to be her maid of honor. Who else? You're my day one, Aaliyah said over brunch, sliding a bridesmaid dress catalog her way. Imani nodded, flipping pages with manicured nails. I'd be honored, sis. But as they shopped, Aaliyah gushing about Elijah's family welcoming her like one of their own, Imani's mind wandered. Elijah's mom, Mrs. Thompson, had pulled Aaliyah aside at a family dinner, hugging her tight. You're perfect for our boy. Kind, real, not chasing the bag. Imani overheard it all from the kitchen, pretending to grab more wine. Her stomach churned. I'm smarter, more polished. Why not me? The big day rolled in under clear blue skies. The church buzzed with guests, Elijah's business contacts in sharp suits, Aaliyah's extended family hollering from the pews. Imani stood at the altar in her lavender dress, bouquet in hand, watching Aaliyah glide down the aisle on her uncle's arm. Elijah's face lit up like Christmas, eyes misty as he whispered, "You look stunning." Vows exchanged, rings slipped on, and the kiss sealed it amid cheers and confetti. At the reception, toast flowed like champagne. Elijah's dad raised a glass. To Aaliyah, bringing light to our family. Imani clinked glasses, but her toast came out strained. You've always deserved the best, Aaliyah. So happy for you. Later, as the couple hit the dance floor to their first song, Imani slipped outside for air, leaning against a railing. This should have been mine, she muttered, watching through the window as Elijah twirled Aaliyah, both laughing like kids. Honeymoon in Hawaii. Elijah surprised her with tickets. They jetted off to beaches with white sand and turquoise waves, posting pics that blew up Aaliyah's socials. Back home, Imani scrolled through them in her dim apartment, heart sinking. Look at us living it up, Aaliyah texted with heart emojis. Imani replied with thumbs up, but tossed her phone aside, jealousy festering like a bad cut. When they returned, Elijah's family gifted them a sprawling house in the suburbs. 4 bedrooms, a backyard big enough for barbecues, kitchen with granite counters that screamed adulting goals. Aaliyah gave Imani the tour over coffee. Check out this master suite and the nursery. We're thinking kids soon. Imani's eyes roamed the place, imagining herself in it. It's dope, girl. You hit the jackpot. A year later, the news dropped. Aaliyah called Imani screaming, I'm pregnant. We're having a baby. Imani froze at her desk, mid-session with a client. Wow, congrats. But hanging up, she slammed her laptop shut, tears stinging. Aaliyah gets the hubby, the house, now the kid. What do I get? Nothing but scraps. Baby Ania arrived on a sunny spring morning, perfect with Aaliyah's curls and Elijah's dimples. The hospital room overflowed with flowers and family. Elijah cradled his daughter, whispering, She's our little miracle. Aaliyah beamed, exhausted but glowing. Imani visited with a teddy bear, cooing over the bundle. She's gorgeous, just like her mama. But as she watched Elijah kiss Aaliyah's forehead, the family unit clicking into place, something snapped inside Imani. This life, it's what I deserve, not her. That night, alone in her car, Imani stared at the steering wheel, fists clenched. Jealousy wasn't just simmering anymore. It was boiling over, twisting her thoughts into something dark and dangerous. Why does she get it all? She hissed to the empty dashboard. Little did she know that envy was about to unleash hell. Aaliyah stared at the ceiling in her bedroom, the fancy chandelier Elijah had installed blurring through her tears. Baby Anaya fussed in the bassinet, but Aaliyah couldn't muster the energy to pick her up. What's wrong with me? She whispered, pulling the covers over her head. The joy from holding her newborn had vanished weeks ago, replaced by this crushing fog. Sleepless nights, zero appetite, and a gnawing guilt that she wasn't cut out for motherhood. I should be over the moon, she'd think. But instead, she'd snap at Elijah over dumb stuff, like leaving his socks on the floor. Elijah noticed first, rubbing her back during one of her breakdowns. Babe, this ain't you. Maybe talk to someone? But Aaliyah brushed it off, not wanting to seem weak. That's when she called Imani, voice cracking over the phone. Girl, I feel like crap all the time. Can't sleep, can't eat, and sometimes, I wonder if Ania'd be better off without me messing things up. Imani's heart skipped, not from worry, but opportunity. She'd been waiting for a crack like this. Oh, honey, that sounds like postpartum blues. I've seen it tons in my clients. You're not alone. Her voice dripped sympathy, but her mind raced. This is my in. Why don't I crash at your place for a bit, help with the baby, cook some meals, and give you space to breathe? As your bestie and a pro counselor, I got this. Aaliyah hesitated, wiping her eyes. You sure? I don't want to burden you. Burden, please, that's what sisters do. Imani shot back, already packing a bag in her head. Elijah was cool with it when Aaliyah pitched the idea over dinner. If it'll help you feel like yourself again, yeah. Imani's solid with kids from her job. He squeezed Aaliyah's hand, missing the flicker in Imani's eyes as she nodded from across the table. Imani rolled up the next day with suitcases and a smile that screamed helpful. "Where's my little niece?" she cooed, scooping Anaya from the playpen. Aaliyah watched, a spark of relief cutting through the haze. "Thanks for this, Imani. You're a lifesaver." Imani hugged her tight, whispering, "We'll get you through this, promise." But as she unpacked in the guest room, overlooking the backyard pool, she thought, finally inside, time to work. In the first week, Imani played perfectly. She whipped up Elijah's favorite ribs, kept the house spotless, vacuuming like a boss while Aaliyah napped. She'd rock Anaya to sleep with lullabies, freeing Aaliyah to shower without rushing. "See? Teamwork makes the dream work," Imani said, handing Aaliyah a steaming mug of herbal tea one evening. "This blends my secret weapon for stress, chamomile and some extras to chill you out." Aaliyah sipped, the warmth soothing her raw nerves. "Tastes good. You're too good to me." Imani watched her drink, a tiny smirk hidden behind her own cup. That night, while everyone slept, Imani slipped into the kitchen, pulling a small vial from her bag. The powder inside, odorless, tasteless, sourced from a shady online forum she'd researched during client breaks. As a counselor, she knew poisons that mimic depression symptoms, slow and sneaky. She stirred a pinch into the tea tin, labeling it Aaliyah's Special Blend. Phase 1. Break her down. Days blurred. Imani used her psych tricks to dig in. During talk sessions on the couch, she'd nod empathetically as Aaliyah poured out her fears. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, but pushing too hard might make it worse. Docs love prescribing pills. Could add more stress. Aaliyah bit her lip, trusting her friend's expertise. "Yeah, maybe you're right. I just need time." But the powder kicked in subtly. Aaliyah woke groggy, her head pounding like a bad hangover. "Man, I feel wiped," she'd groaned, skipping breakfast. Imani hovered. "That's the depression talking. Rest up. I'll handle lunch." Ania's cries grated on Aaliyah more, her patience fraying. Elijah caught her zoning out during family movie night. "You okay, love?" "Just tired," Aaliyah mumbled, forcing a smile. Imani jumped in. "Postpartum hits hard. I've counseled moms through worse. Let's not rush to the ER. Could spike her anxiety." Elijah nodded, worried but deferring to the expert. He didn't see Imani upping the dose nightly, measuring powder like a chemist in the dark kitchen. Weeks in, Aaliyah's reflection shocked her. Cheeks hollow, skin sallow like she'd aged a decade. Hair came out in clumps during showers, swirling down the drain. "What's happening to me?" she cried to Imani one afternoon, collapsing on the bed. Imani rubbed her back, voice silky. "It's the hormones crashing. My clients say it peaks before it gets better. Stick with the tea. It's helping more than you know." Elijah pushed harder now, spotting the changes. "We got to see a doctor, Aaliyah. This ain't normal." But Imani cornered him in the hallway later, eyes wide with fake concern. "Elijah, think about it. She's fragile. Poking and prodding at a clinic? That could send her over the edge. As her counselor friend, I say home care's best. Trust me, I've got degrees in this." He rubbed his temples, glancing at Aaliyah dozing with Ania. "All right for now, but if it gets worse..." Imani nodded, relief flooding her. Got him hooked. That night she doubled the powder, stirring it in while humming a tune. Aaliyah drank it down, clueless, her body already betraying her. Dizzy spells hitting mid-step, weight melting off like she was starving herself. Imani watched from the shadows, satisfaction curling her lips. The trap was set, tightening slowly. Aaliyah's helper was her poisoner, and no one suspected a thing. Aaliyah gasped for air in her bed, sheets tangled around her skeletal frame. The room spun, her heart hammering like a jackhammer gone rogue. "Imani, help!" she wheezed, clutching at her chest. Imani stood by the nightstand, tray in hand with that final mug of special tea, laced with enough powder to finish the job. "Shh, drink this. It'll ease you," Imani cooed, lifting the cup to Aaliyah's cracked lips. Aaliyah swallowed weakly, trusting her friend till the end. Within minutes, her breath turned ragged, eyes fluttering shut. Imani sat there, holding her hand, watching life slip away. No panic, just cold calculation. By evening, Aaliyah was gone. Heart failure, the doc said, from the prolonged illness. Elijah crumpled at the hospital, sobbing into his hands. How? She was getting better. Imani rubbed his back, tears fake as a $3 bill. She's at peace now, Elijah. No more suffering. The funeral hit like a freight train 3 days later, at the same church where they'd tied the knot. Pews packed with family, friends, co-workers, Elijah's business buddies in tailored suits, Aaliyah's nursing pals wiping eyes with crumpled tissues. Elijah stood at the casket, Anaya in his arms, the toddler clueless but sensing the vibe, burying her face in his shoulder. "Mommy's in heaven now, baby girl," he whispered, voice breaking. Imani flanked them, black dress hugging her curves, dabbing at dry eyes. "Aaliyah was my sister from another mister," she told mourners at the graveside, voice quivering just right. "I'll miss her every damn day." But inside, triumph surged. Step one, done. No whispers of foul play, just a tragic mom taken too soon. Back at the house, Elijah's mom, Mrs. Thompson, cornered him in the kitchen amid casserole dishes from sympathetic neighbors. "Son, you can't do this alone with the little one. Let her stay with us a spell. Give you time to grieve." Elijah stared at the floor, eyes hollow. Before he could nod, Imani slid in, voice soft as silk. "That's sweet, Mrs. T, but Anaya needs her routine, her own bed. I've been here helping for months. She knows me like family. Let me stick around. Lighten the load." Elijah looked up, grateful. "Yeah, Mom. Imani's been a rock. I don't know if I can handle the quiet without her." Mrs. Thompson frowned, something off in Imani's eager eyes, but she backed off. "All right, if that's what you need." Imani wasted no time settling in permanently. She cooked Elijah's go-to comfort food, smothered pork chops, collard greens, and cornbread that melted in your mouth. "Eat up, you gotta keep your strength," she'd say, plating it with a wink. Elijah shoveled it in, the warmth cutting through his fog. Nights, she'd sit with him on the couch, listening to his rants about the unfairness. "She was too young, man. We had plans, vacations, watching Aaliyah grow." Imani nodded, hand on his knee. "I get it. Aaliyah was one of a kind, but she'd want you strong for that baby." Her touches lingered. A brush on the arm, a hug that lasted seconds too long. Elijah leaned into it, craving the comfort, not seeing the web spinning. But with Anaya, gloves off when Elijah headed to work. The kid, barely toddling, became her punching bag. "Clean up your toys, you little mess," Imani snarled one morning, shoving a broom into Anaya's chubby hands. Anaya whimpered, dropping it. Imani's slap stung, leaving a quick red mark blooming on the girl's cheek. "That's for being lazy like your mama." Lunch? A scrap of bread if Anaya earned it by scrubbing the floor on her knees. "Hungry brats don't get treats," Imani hissed, locking the fridge. Anaya's eyes welled up, tummy rumbling, but she learned fast. Cry, and it got worse. Evenings twisted darker. While Elijah decompressed with a beer, Imani fed him lines. "Anaya's been fussy today, throwing tantrums, the works." Elijah peeked in on his daughter, seeing her quiet and withdrawn. "What's up, princess?" Anya glanced at Imani looming in the doorway, her warning glare like daggers. "Nothing, Daddy," the girl mumbled, too scared to spill. Imani jumped in. "She's just missing her mom, acting out. Kids do that. I've seen it in sessions. Give her time." Trauma ramped up. Imani cornered Anaya in the playroom, voice low and venomous. "Your mama was weak. That's why she's gone." "Pathetic, really. Couldn't hack it." Ania sobbed, clutching a stuffed bear Aaliyah had given her. "Mommy loved me." Imani's laugh cut sharply. "Loved you? She bailed 'cause you were a burden. And if you blab to Daddy about our chats, I'll get you as I offered her." "Got it." Anya nodded frantically, terror freezing her tiny frame. Imani straightened, smile snapping back as Elijah called from downstairs. Dependency grew. Elijah confided more, sleepless nights, work stress piling on grief. Imani was there, massaging his shoulders after long days. "You're holding it together like a champ," she'd murmur, her perfume lingering. He started noticing her curves, Her laugh, guilt twisting, but comfort winning. Couldn't do this without you, Imani. She leaned in closer. That's why I'm here. For you and Ania. But alone with the kid, she'd pinch Anaya's arm for spilling juice. Clumsy like your deadbeat mom. Clean it or no dinner. Months blurred, Imani's grip tightening. Elijah leaned on her like a crutch, blind to the monster under his roof. Ania shrank smaller, bruises hidden under sleeves, spirit cracking under threats. Imani reveled in it, her plan clicking forward, one family at a time. Elijah paced the backyard, heart pounding under the string lights they'd hung for summer barbecues. The garden smelled like fresh cut grass and blooming jasmine, Aaliyah's favorites, the spot where he'd proposed to her years back. Now, 6 months after her death, he clutched a small box, nerves buzzing. Imani stepped out in a sundress, hair cascading in waves, flashing that smile that had pulled him through the darkness. "What's up, babe?" "You look serious," she said, tilting her head. He dropped to one knee, popping the box to reveal a sparkling ring. Not as flashy as Aaliyah's, but elegant. "Imani, you've been my lifeline. Held me and Ania together when everything fell apart. I love you. Will you marry me?" Her eyes widen, hand flying to her chest in mock surprise. "Elijah, yes. Oh my God, yes." She yanked him up for a kiss, deep and possessive. Elijah felt a rush of relief mixed with guilt, but her arms around him drowned it out. "We're gonna be a real family now," she whispered, slipping the ring on. Inside, Ania peeked from her bedroom window, tiny fingers gripping the sill. She didn't get it all, but seeing Daddy kiss the mean lady twisted her gut. Tears welled. She scampered back to bed, pulling covers over her head. Downstairs, Imani hummed while pouring wine. "To us," she toasted, clinking glasses. Elijah smiled, but a shadow flickered. 6 months felt fast. Still, she made the house feel less empty. The next morning, reality hit Ania like a slap. Elijah left for work early, kissing her forehead. "Be good for Imani, princess." Docker shut, Imani's mask dropped. "Get your ass downstairs and scrub the counters," she barked, yanking Ania by the arm. The girl winced, bruises from yesterday's accident throbbing. "But I'm hungry," Ania whimpered, stomach growling after skipping dinner for spilling milk. Imani's eyes narrowed. "Hungry? Earn it, you ungrateful brat. Your mama spoiled you rotten. That's why she's pushing daisies." Ania bit her lip, grabbing a sponge too big for her hands, scrubbing while tears mixed with soap suds. Days dragged into a nightmare routine. Ania grew rail thin, dark circles framing her eyes like bruises. She barely spoke, flinching at shadows. Playdates? Cancelled. Imani claimed she was too wild. Elijah noticed at dinner that Ania was poking at peas without eating. "Hey, kiddo, what's eating you? You used to devour my spaghetti." Ania glanced at Imani, who shot a glare sharp as knives. "Nothing, Daddy. Just miss Mommy." Imani jumped in smoothly. "She's been throwing fits all day, kicking toys, screaming. Classic rebellion from missing her mom. I've dealt with it in sessions. Kids lash out when life's upside down." Elijah frowned but nodded. "Makes sense. We'll get through it." Later, tucking Ania in, he spotted a fresh purple mark on her wrist. "What happened here, sweetie?" Panic flashed in her eyes. "Fell playing." Imani hovered in the doorway. "Yeah, she tripped over her blocks. Clumsy phase, right? Maybe we should get her checked by a pro. My colleague at the clinic specializes in kid behavioral stuff. Could diagnose if it's ADHD or just grief acting up." Elijah rubbed his chin. "Yeah, maybe. Don't want her suffering." Tension brewed with Elijah's family. At Sunday brunch, Mrs. Thompson eyed Ania picking at pancakes, her frame swallowed by the chair. "That child's skin and bones, Elijah, and quiet as a mouse, used to chatter nonstop. Something's off." Elijah shifted. "She's grieving, Ma. Imani's on it. Says it's normal." Mrs. Thompson huffed. "Normal? Let her stay with us for a week. Fresh air at our place, homemade meals. She needs spoiling, not whatever this is." Imani, pouring coffee, stiffened. "With all due respect, Mrs. T, I've been here day in, day out. Ania, trust me. Uprooting her now? That'd mess her up more. As a counselor, I know stability's key." The table went silent, forks clinking awkwardly. Elijah's dad cleared his throat. Imani's got a point. Don't rock the boat. But Mrs. Thompson leaned in, voice low. I'm her grandma. If she's hurting, I want to help. This engagement's fast. Make sure you're thinking clearly. Imani forced a laugh. Fast? Love doesn't wait. And I understand Aaliyah best. I've practically raised her these months. Words hung heavy. Mrs. Thompson shot Elijah a look. Choose sides, son. Elijah drove home tense, Imani fuming beside him. Your mom's overstepping. She thinks I'm not good enough? He sighed. She's worried, that's all. But yeah, Ania's been off. Quiet, those bruises. Imani's grip tightened on the wheel. Bruises? Kids play rough. And quiet? Blame the trauma. My colleague can sort it. Book an appointment tomorrow. Trust me, babe. Elijah nodded slowly, doubt creeping like fog. Loyalty tugged him to Imani, but that mom instinct nagged. Something's rotten here. Back home, Aaliyah cowered in her room, hearing the argument echo. Imani's voice sharpened post-fight. Your grandma's meddling? Tell her nothing or else. Anaya nodded, fear choking her words. Elijah peeked in later, heart aching at her frailty. Love you, kiddo. But as he left, doubt festered. He was torn, blinders cracking. Elijah's gut twisted as he cut the engine early, parking a block away from the house. Doubt had been gnawing at him for weeks. Anya's bruises, her silence, Imani's quick excuses. Something's off, he'd muttered to himself in the office mirror that morning. Screw the meeting. He was heading home unannounced, phone ready to record if needed. Sneaking up the driveway, he heard shouts from the cracked kitchen window. Imani's voice venomous and raw. You little shit. If you don't mop this spill right now, I'll dump you like I dumped your worthless mama. Ania's sobs pierced the air. Elijah froze, heart slamming, thumb hitting record as he crept closer. Please, Imani, I tried, Anaya begged, her voice tiny and broken. Imani's laugh cut like glass. Tried? Your best sucks. Just like Aaliyah. Weak, vulnerable. Slipping that powder into her tea every night was cake. She gulped it down, trusting me like a fool. And poof, gone. Nobody batted an eye till she croaked. Elijah's blood ran cold. He gripped the phone tighter, bile rising. Why'd you hurt Mommy? She loved you, Ania wailed. Imani's tone dropped deadly. Loved me? That bitch stole Elijah. The house. The life I deserved. I took it back. And if you breathe a word to Daddy, you're next. Same poison in your juice. Slow and painful. Capiche, brat? Elijah backed away silently, legs jelly, replaying the horror in his car. She killed Aaliyah, he whispered, tears blurring the screen. No time for breakdown. He dialed his lawyer first, then the cops. I got proof. My fiancé murdered my wife. Detectives met him at a coffee shop downtown, listening to the recording with stone faces. We'll exhume the body, test for toxins, the lead said. But play it cool till we build the case. Don't tip her off. Elijah nodded, rage fueling him. For Ania and Aaliyah, I'll act like nothing's changed. Home that night, he forced a smile, kissing Imani's cheek. Rough day, she asked, and stirring pasta. Yeah, but you're my bright spot. Inside he seethed, watching her tuck Ania in with fake sweetness. The girl looked terrified, eyes darting to him for help he couldn't give yet. Love you, Daddy, she whispered. Love you more, he replied, slipping her a secret cookie under the pillow, small rebellion against the monster. Exhumation results hit 2 days later. Oleander poison in Aaliyah's system, chronic levels matching the recording. Arrest warrants are ready, the detective texted. Set up a family meet. We'll crash it. Elijah planned a wedding prep barbecue, inviting both sides. Imani buzzed with excitement, trying on dresses. Can't wait to be Mrs. Thompson, she gushed. He nodded, stomach churning. Sunday afternoon, the backyard swarmed. Elijah's folks flipping burgers, Imani's cousins blasting music, Ania hiding in a corner with a juice box. Mrs. Thompson pulled Elijah aside. That child's a ghost. Look at her. We need to talk. He whispered. Soon, Ma. Trust me. Imani mingled, ring flashing, laughing like she owned the place. Elijah waited till everyone grabbed plates, then stood. Hey, fam, Got something to share before we dive in? Murmurs quieted. Imani beamed, expecting toast. This is about truth, Elijah said, voice steel, pulling out his phone. Aaliyah didn't die from illness. She was murdered. Gasps rippled. Imani's smile froze. He hit play, her voice booming. Slipping that powder into her tea every night was cake. If you breathe a word, you're next. Horror spread. Elijah's dad dropped his tongs. Imani's mom clutched her chest. What the hell? Her dad barked. Imani lunged for the phone. That's fake. He's framing me. Chaos erupted. Imani's uncle yelled, Bullshit! Elijah's lost it, making shit up. Mrs. Thompson shot back. Listen to it. That's her voice, poisoning my daughter-in-law. Fists clenched, voices overlapped in shouts. Elijah's brother grabbed Imani's arm. You monster! She twisted free, screaming, It's a setup. I love him. Why would I? Cops burst through the gate, badges flashing. Imani, you're under arrest for murder and child abuse. Handcuffs clicked. She thrashed. Elijah, tell them. It's a lie. As they dragged her away, family hurled accusations. Imani's side defending. Our girl's no killer. Elijah's hollering back. Anaya clung to Mrs. Thompson, wide-eyed. Elijah knelt. It's over, baby. She's gone. But drama didn't stop. In lockup, Imani slashed her wrist with a smuggled shard. Failed, but close. Hospitalized, she scrawled a letter. Elijah, I did it for us. Forgive me. I love you more than she ever could. It hit his mailbox days later. He read it trembling, hate boiling but pity sneaking in. She ruined us. Why feel bad? He muttered, crumpling it. Yet doubts lingered. Was she sick or pure evil? He trashed the note, but the war inside raged on. The courtroom buzzed like a hive on steroids, reporters cramming the benches, flashes popping as Imani sat cuffed at the defense table, her once polished look now ragged, hair limp, eyes darting like a cornered rat. Elijah gripped the wooden railing from the front row, Anaya beside him, clutching a worn teddy, her tiny frame swallowed by the oversized chair. The prosecutor paced, voice booming. Ladies and gentlemen, this wasn't a snap decision. Cold, calculated murder over jealousy. Imani's lawyer fidgeted, but the evidence stacked like bricks. The recording, tox reports, witness statements. Ania's turn hit like a gut punch. The judge leaned in gently. You ready, sweetie? She nodded, climbing the stand with Elijah's encouraging nod. Tell us what you saw, honey, the prosecutor coaxed. Ania's voice trembled, but held. And Imani, she put white powder in Mommy's tea. Lots of times. Said it'd make her better, but Mommy got sicker. Gas rippled. Imani's face paled, nails digging into the table. And she hit me if I talked. Said she'd do the same to me. Elijah's fist clenched, pride swelling amid the rage. His baby girl is savage as hell. Experts sealed it. The toxicologist slapped up slides. Oleander residue in Aaliyah Thompson's system. Chronic dosing, undetectable at first, mimicking heart failure. Jurors shifted, murmuring. Imani's defense crumbled. Mental break. Obsession, not malice. But the prosecutor fired back. Obsession? She poisoned a mom, abused a kid. That's evil, plain and simple. Deliberation dragged 4 hours. Verdict slammed down. Guilty on first-degree murder and child endangerment. The sentencing was immediate. Death by lethal injection. Imani collapsed, sobbing. Elijah, please. I did it for us. He stared stone cold, no words, as guards hauled her away. Elijah shredded the engagement invites that night, the ring box tossed in the trash like yesterday's garbage. It's done, he told his reflection, splashing water on his face. Focus shifted to Anaya. Therapy started pronto, a kid specialist with puppets and crayons to unpack the hell. First sessions gutted him, Anaya drawing stick figures, whispering, The bad lady's in my dreams, Daddy. She hurts Mommy again. Nightmares jolted her awake, screaming, sheets soaked in sweat. Make it stop, she'd wail, clinging to him till dawn. Elijah rocked her, guilt knifing deep. How'd I miss this? My own kids are suffering under my roof. Worse, Anaya pushed plates away at meals, staring at food like poison. What if it's bad like Mommy's tea? She'd ask. tummy rumbling, but refusing bites. Elijah coaxed with her favorites, mac and cheese, chicken nuggets, but she'd gag, tears flowing. I'm sorry, Daddy. I can't. Weight dropped fast. Doc visits piled up. IV fluids once when dehydration hit. Elijah blamed himself raw. I let that snake in. Failed you both. Sleepless nights he'd pace, replaying every missed sign, punching pillows to vent the fury.